Good morning, I'm Bob Bruce, and welcome to a special edition of Twin Cities Live. Now, normally, each morning at this time, there's an audience in the studio, the phone lines are lit up, our guests are ready to go, and we're just about ready to start another show. Well, today's show is going to be just a little different. Considering this is our last broadcast day of the year 1988, we thought we'd take a look back at the past year before we welcome in the new year. You know, producing live television always invites the unexpected. There were many moments in 1988 that we will never forget, and some surprised us, others touched our hearts, and some were just plain fun. But one thing that was always constant is that our viewers always managed to get right to the point when expressing their opinions.
Let's just set the ground rules right here from the very beginning, and I will be very forcefully in saying this. We will allow both sides to speak on this show. This show will remain unbiased towards any form or any opinion either way. We will allow both sides to speak, and everyone will have a chance in just a moment.
Am I the only one in the world who's noticed that women can wear men's clothes, but if a man puts on a skirt, he's ridiculed or he's fired from his job? See, here's my point. I think that clothes sort of say something about the choices that people can make in life. And the clothes tell me that women are the ones who are liberated and men aren't. And what I'm fighting for are men's equal rights, the right of men to express creativity and softness in the same way that women can express power and strength. And I believe that men should have the same choices and freedoms in their lives that women take for granted in theirs. It's that simple, it's that basic, and it's that important. I'm not compromising one inch.
What choices, what freedoms? Besides the freedom of dress, what choices, what freedoms are you saying that we do not have at the moment?
You see, this isn't about polyester. It's not about the skirt. It's about men being able to make creative, colorful choices in their lives, to be emotionally expressive the way women can, to express themselves artistically. We men don't have that. You know, we're dying 8.5 years earlier than women because this society squeezes the emotional life out of us and puts us in our graves, and I'm sick and tired of that double standard.
What do you think about this? Are they all right? Do you see anything wrong with a beauty pageant?
I don't see anything at all wrong with any pageants. I think that she had no right whatsoever to take that moment away from Miss California, and it's really none of her business if that's what those women want to do. And most of all, I think she's a great picture of a very, very poor loser, and you have to wonder if she would have done that if she would have won. She more than likely would have taken the money and ran.
The plan was... That's absolutely correct. I would not have protested had I won. I would have shut up until Atlantic City and protested on national television at Miss America.
I'm a manic depressive. I spent 17 years of my life in prison. I am now walking the streets as a zombie. I take lithium.
Absolutely.
Don't tell a lie, mister. You're selling that book to make money because you failed in your practice.
Exactly. And people like you are kept from treatment because of statements that he makes.
Statements like that.
Absolutely.
Mike Tyson is going to get kicked out of boxing because lithium was helping him. Why? Should he go back and tear his house apart? You want to ask my wife what I did to my house before I took lithium? Blew holes in it. I kicked an '86 van in. A brand new van. I kicked it in. I could not control it. I took lithium. I'm calm.
And there are people who, if you look at the studies on manic depressive illness, there's good genetic studies showing that it's probably inherited. They're finding some chemical problems in the brain that could be causing it, and lithium's a very effective treatment. It's not a tyranny. I suspect that most people...
Is it dangerous?
Yes, it is dangerous at times. And people like him...
Is the toxic dose very close to the therapeutic dose?
It can be.
So they need to be monitored constantly?
Absolutely. We take blood tests regularly, as with most...
Do you think there are a lot of people in this
So are
audience?
Wheaties.
Yeah,
so are cornflakes.
Wait a minute.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, corn...
I mean, mental retardation and mental illness are the exact same thing?
Not exactly, but let me tell you something.
There's
No,
a fine line.
they still both have problems. You cannot deny somebody who's mentally ill as to be mentally retardation.
Are you telling me that a child with Down syndrome is the same as a schizophrenic psychopath?
No, but
Well,
that
that's
person
what you
would
just said.
not help.
That's what you just said. That's exactly what you said. They're the same.
They both need help.
They're smart. They know what's right and wrong.
We're trying to make young people aware of some of the negative influences, and then they're going to go out and do whatever they want to. We're
Let
not
them
trying
make their
to,
own choices.
Yeah.
That's why while we sit here, 60 kids have attempted suicide today. 1,400 of them have become regular drug users in the last 60 minutes. Why? Because they're allowed to make their choices, allowing their heroes to promote this.
But aren't we just basically not giving, as many other generations have, aren't we basically not giving our young people any credit whatsoever? I mean, let's face it, there are millions upon millions. It is a very sad but true fact that there are many suicides in this country. Let me finish, please. There are many suicides in this country. There are many young people that fall into deep trouble. But there are millions upon millions upon millions that have listened to rock music. I myself in my generation grew up listening to Led Zeppelin and all that other stuff, who turn
That's
out
your problem,
fine
Bob.
and who are intelligent and are great credit to our society. So aren't we selling them short a little bit?
I find, for myself, I agree with you in regards to public affection. When I'm with my spouse, I have no problem with it, but when I'm with my kids, I do. I respect them. But I do not hide who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I feel more comfortable who I am. I'm a lesbian.
The fact that they're not priests doesn't mean they're not leaders. My God, I have a woman chancellor in my diocese. I picked her out. Fantastic woman, great, but she doesn't want to be a priest. And
But there are women in the church who do.
Well, that's their problem, not mine.
I want to go back to the idea of atheism being religion. If atheists desire to have a secularized society, which is really their right, they must then be willing to admit and submit themselves to secularized definitions. You read one definition of religion being any principle, belief system held to with ardor or faith. Faith is defined as something held to strongly with strong conviction. And so as long as atheists say that we are religion and they will not have that claim for themselves, they really have us in the corner because they can use the First Amendment then to keep us down because they're not religious. Atheism is a religion.
No,
atheism has a system of beliefs.
Atheism is not a religion. We have never sought to have ourselves protected under any definitions of religion. In fact, when we are defined as a religion, we fight.
No, I'm sorry.
You said it's... Go ahead.
That's the only way you know that your father loves you is when he strikes you with the paddle?
No, I know he loves me other ways too.
But that's the main way.
Yeah.
Now let's see if he's in line with the Bible. Just wait a minute before all you heretics laugh. You know what God said? Now listen, here's what God said. He said, whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. He said, if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. If I did not chasten my child with a rod, he would think that he was a bastard.
I don't know.
Why is it that your people aren't able to pass tests
I have an
to teach in a classroom? They gave that to you because of affirmative action. Any grade you received was because you were black, not because you had the intelligence.
That's sort of a hasty generalization, to say the least.
I just have to say that I think you're an embarrassment to the white race, and being Jewish, I felt
I don't even want to hear
racism
what she
too.
has to say. Why do you go against the teachings in the Bible? You know, your people don't even accept Jesus Christ as being the Son of God.
I think you are absurd.
Why don't you go back to Israel and help your country out back there? Because I'm tired of my dollars going over there to support your people.
There's a lot of people that have died for this. I think you need one heck of a lesson on respect. And I also, don't point your finger at me, Mike.
Say, Bob, that isn't fair. They didn't die. Your friends and your colleagues, those good Americans who died in Vietnam, I don't believe died to stop people from exercising their right of free speech.
They died for the flag.
They died for principle. A flag is a piece of cloth. It's a symbol.
That stands for principle. That stands for principle.
But there's a difference between a principle and something that stands for it. You fight and you believe in people and in principle, not a flag that could be changed tomorrow. Years ago, it was had different stars in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I also came in. And I spent 4 years in the service, and a lot of people have spent a lot of other years in the service defending your right to be able to sit on that stage and give out this bull.
Passive inhalation will show up on drug tests. There are many articles written about that, and you should be aware of that.
And I am aware of it, and if it does
happen,
happen...
like his wife, one incident, you go in, you inhale it, they're around it, the narcotics people, they call it passive inhalation, and it could stay in your system and be tested positive.
One little incident.
And one man's life, Chief, is enough to ruin.
Or a woman's life. I do not anticipate a police officer shall be present where crimes are being committed and they condone it.
You might burn what's next, for all I know. You want gun control, you want to take my urine, you want to do this, you want to do that. What else do you have?
I want accountability.
It was such a high risk before that they took it off the market.
What makes it such a low risk now?
It wasn't a high risk. It was the fact that lawsuits were coming up and the cost of litigation was so tremendous. And remember that the people who sued...
I don't understand. How can you say it wasn't a high risk?
That's not
There were
true.
thousands of women that had problems with this.
The Alpine Shield, yes. Copper 7, there weren't that many problems, but the people who did sue, it was the way that the cereal
Litigation
company
did not take
decided-
these devices off the market.
Your comment about lawsuits just slays me. I mean, if there's a lawsuit, there's a definite problem. I mean, nobody sues if they're healthy. They sue because they had a problem.
I think people sue to make money.
I think you're full of it.
Secret documents were recovered from an FMLN guerrilla courier. The FMLN is the Marxist-Leninist guerrilla organization in El Salvador. These documents are accepted as authentic by the New York Times. These documents, I think most people would find that credible. These documents said that the Sandinistas always had and always would view the Arias peace plan and the peace process in a cynical manner, taking advantage of it in order to destroy the forces of democracy at work in Central America.
The Sandinistas are the forces of democracy in Central America.
That's right.
It's the Sandinistas who threw out a dictatorship. It's the Sandinistas who gave
It was the free
Nicaragua.
trade unions. It was the businesses. It was the press. All of those who have been betrayed. That's what has happened. They've betrayed the revolution. They've stole the revolution from there's no free press. There's no free trade union. There's no free business. There's nothing in that state.
There is a free press.
I'm absolutely blind. You're blind, man. You're blind.
All right, gentlemen.
Well, that would really be a sad day if my case was based on Ann Rule's book rather than trial transcript. Ann Rule did not base her book on trial transcript. Another book is going to be coming out this year, and approximately 1/3 of it is simply trial transcript, taken right straight from the transcript.
Who's your publisher, Diane?
And that's really none of your business. You'll be surprised when it comes out, won't you?
Black males, and I say this to the black men, black men, it's time for us as black men to stop these punks and leeches, because those young punks are contaminating our race and making it bad for every black, law-abiding black.
You're constantly sitting here talking in terms of role modeling, and you always say that the black. Hold on, excuse me, will you give me a chance to speak? Will you give me a chance to speak?
Not those punks, not those drug addicts with the gold and the Mercedes that they get by selling drugs, hanging out on the corner. They can't be examples of role models.
Let's get another opinion.
See, but you constantly say that they can't be example of role models, but you are not even really even addressing the fact that we live in a very racist society, and you're always speaking in terms of black students where black students don't have the same opportunities.
I have 2 strikes against
give me a chance?
I'm black and poor. I still have 1 left, and I'm not going to strike out. I'm going to make the best of it, and if I have to work 1,000 times harder than the white man or the Asian man, I'm committed to that object.
We will take a break, and when we come back, you will have a chance to say your opinion. We will continue. They say there's no business like show business, and what would our show be if we didn't sprinkle it with just a few stars for you? This set has been visited by legends past and present, from American heroes to Hollywood's most glamorous. We've been lucky enough to tap into our favorite childhood memories.
The show is going on. It's live radio. I had this skinny microphone, you know, on a stand, and I see the woman in the front row, almost as close as you are, with her bag in her lap. And I see the guys in the trench coats and the hats coming down the aisle, and I'm trying to point and sing, "Someday you'll find your bluebird," you know, ooh, there she is, there she is. And she goes into the bag, and she pulled out a rather large gun. And the guys came in from the side and lifted her by the arms, took the gun away, and took her out. And fortunately, she didn't scream. And so I asked afterwards, I said, "Why did she want to kill me?" And they said, "Because her daughter died the day you were born, and she thought I had stolen her daughter's soul."
I'd like to know what Amy's doing, and if you would speak a little bit about those world issues.
Fine. As parents, Rosa and I have had mixed emotions about Amy. She's much less orthodox, you might say, than we are. But I have to say that Amy has not been arrested lately. She's She's been arrested 4 times, as you may know, 3 times for demonstrating about apartheid in South Africa. And 1 time, she was arrested for demonstrating against the CIA activities in Central America, the illegal activities of the CIA. And we're very proud of Amy. By the way, she was found innocent of any crime by a jury that Amy pointed out, all of whom were over 30 years old.
Well, you're such a cute little twit. And you've made lots of beautiful movies.
Tell her how young she looks. That's what I want you to
She's a doll. She's a sweetheart. and you made a lot of beautiful movies with beautiful men. Did you ever get turned on?
Well, actually, no.
No?
Not with anyone I worked with. I think it's always very difficult to do kissing scenes and love scenes with the crew all watching. It would be like if you were all on a set today and you were doing a love scene. And how could you say? You're just probably oversexed old lady. That's
what do you have to eat that you just don't like?
Green beans.
Me too, especially those long strings on the side. What don't you like to eat that you have to eat?
Dog food.
Where? There's the mother. Why do you save money?
Michael.
You don't.
You're feeding him dog food.
No.
No, let her sit down. Don't make her do that. That's awful.
Why 30-something? Why that particular age group in that area? Is that when a lot of us, when we reach that age, start to question? We see some of our dreams that have gone out the window, and we're kind of putting our priorities together.
I don't know. I was 20-something when I got divorced, so I don't know if that. I think some of it might be, you know. I think the writers are just 34 and 35, and that's what they know about, and they always tell a story about a comic that they saw that had a writer writing and a bunch of garbage and stuff around him, and he's trying to write about the upper echelon or something, and the wife says, "Why don't you write what you know about?" Basically saying, write about a slob, and you'd be better off. And that's what these guys hang on to, is that they write about what they know, and they're in their 30s. And I think the feelings that I have and that they have and that you have and that people in their 50s have and 20s have, I think they're all basically the same. They might come, like what you're saying, fruition at a certain point, but, you know, it's the same thing.
Well, because, you know, in my case, I can't speak for other people, but in my case, I was thinking that and feeling that people only judged me on what was on the outside, you know, and I know that I've done such a lot of work on the inside with my life that I wasn't being looked at for that. Even though when you first see somebody, and actually the first thing you do is the eye contact and you see the exterior, but you know, you want to be looked at for other reasons too, not just whatever you've been blessed with.
You were asked questions that I don't think are asked of anyone else, unless maybe you're running for the presidency of the United States.
Isn't that ironic that they would all of a sudden assume that I'm an expert on everything? In fact, one newspaper article said, her name is Carlson, not Quayle. And I thought that signified exactly how I felt at the moment. You know, they were really getting into my personal life, and that really has nothing to do with how well I'm going to represent the country.
They got very much into your personal life.
He had mentioned earlier that you said in your book about how in your earlier relationships you had these affairs, and what prompted that? Just
Affair.
Oh, I thought
Affair.
that, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought there was...
And the thing is...
Well, now, wait a minute, Suzanne. That's not because in your first marriage, you had an affair with a man outside of the marriage, and then when you were single, you had an affair with your husband, who was at the same time married. But
I would consider an affair being when you've got one going here and one going there. I mean, in my first marriage, I wanted to get out of that marriage, and I think, how does a good Catholic girl get out at a time when no one gets divorced? I did the worst thing I could do, and that was go outside of the marriage. But by the time I met my husband, I was in love with him. He was the only person in my life. He was having the affair.
Let me interrupt you. We have a special phone call. Are we ready for this? We have a special phone call. I've been waiting for this. Good morning.
Good morning.
Doesn't this sound familiar, this voice?
Is this the...
This is a person that knows everything about you, and if there's anything I know for sure, if you want the real scoop on a guy, go to his wife.
Hey.
Hey.
Where are you?
I'm where I'm supposed to be.
How'd you find me?
How did I find you? Don't you know I'm with you all the time?
Yes, you are. You are. They just showed the proposal, and I got all sweaty again.
Yeah, you should. You should get sweaty every time you think about it.
This is my lovely wife, who I love so dearly.
How long did it take you to get your black belt?
It took me 14 months, but I was in Korea and I trained 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. So it was like a full-time job over there.
My husband is in the glass and mirror business, and he has a shop which he now left New York with and opened in Miami because he wanted to get out of New York for the winters, so he's now relocated in Miami. And he has a whole wall of pictures of me. It's like a memorial wall. You would think I was dead, you know. But only good pictures, only great-looking pictures, pictures of me when I, you know, taking awards, looking, not pictures of me like I really am. And a customer came in and said to him, "That's Estelle Getty." And my husband said, "Yes." And he said, "Why do you have a wall of pictures of Estelle Getty?" He said, "She's my wife." And the customer said, "She's your wife? Estelle Getty is your wife?" And my husband said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't believe it." My husband said, "If I was going to lie, I'd say Rue McClanahan was my wife."
Would you say you're one of the last of a dying breed?
No. Basically, there's a lot of pilots around and other people in other professions that, you know, it's not what you are, it's what people think you are. It's about the way it works out.
What do you remember most about being Spanky?
About how boring it is to make motion pictures.
Is it really? I mean, for a child,
really
it must be terribly boring because you have to wait around a lot, correct?
Absolutely. For the set to be set up and the shot to be made and the lighting to be done and the whole thing. And of course, these people know it as well as I do, but it's boring.
Do you understand baseball a little bit better now after the World Series? Look at
I don't think that changed anything. I understand about as much as I did before.
Does she, Kirby? Does she?
Very little.
Very little?
All she knows every 2 weeks is payday. That's all she knows.
I understand you compose a song a day. Are you going to do one for us now?
I'd be happy to, sure.
Would you please give him a little encouragement? Yes, go right ahead.
Actually, all my songs come from this little device here. No, that is a radioactive isotope container, which I just scotch taped to my groin here, otherwise I'll be on some other channel. An O'Keefe and Merritt piano. That's very interesting. I never saw that brand before. Oh, well, I'll just play any old thing.
Welcome back to Twin Cities Live, a year in review. You know, because of the nature of our show, many of the topics we present are those that concern you and the welfare of your family. Many of our shows are sensitive in nature, and they can ignite passionate reactions and spark hidden insight. But there are some days that we all need to kick back and just plain have a good time. Good morning, ladies and germs. I'm Bob Bruce, and you're not. Welcome to Twin Cities Live. You know, I just flew in from Miami, and boy, are my arms tired. Yesterday, no, really, yeah. Yesterday I put spot remover on my dog and he went away. You're terrible. Anyone would laugh at that stuff. These are called one-liners, and as you can see, some people are better at them than others.
Oftentimes, you can tell, teachers can tell in second grade, mothers that have had several children, some of whom might be risk takers, will even tell you there's differences before they were born on what these children are like compared to other children. An example might be, younger anyway, second grade, there's a fire drill. And the high risk taker, the kind of, excitement junkies that we're talking about here, they'll be real excited about that fire drill, and they'll be first in line. Other kids in the
one
class...
that pulled the switch.
There was a woman back there that was worried about dating younger men. You do need a sense of humor, because the worst thing that happens to a woman is she's going to be suspected of being his mother. It's happened to me, and once it happens the first time, we got into it. We went on a trip on the QE2, Mr. and Mrs. Van Wormer, and we requested a double bed. And as we walked in, the maid is making up the room, and she's pushing the beds to get together, and she takes one look at Ron, and she pushes them apart. She goes, Mrs. Van Wormer, it's so lovely that you're taking your son with you. I said, he's not my son, he's my husband, and put those beds together. And then they all go, oh, we think it's wonderful. Right afterwards, they oh, it's wonderful. And behind the back, going, whoa, did you see that one?
Take a bite out of that real quick. Tell me what it tastes like, if it tastes like something you've seen before.
Just take a big bite of it.
Chicken feet.
How's it taste?
Just like chicken feet.
Well, I'm a little upset this morning. See, I've been going out with my boyfriend for about I want to say about a week. And last night I found something out about him that no woman ever wants to find out about the man she loves. He's I found out my new boyfriend is a jerk.
I don't know. I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
I see men today in all different colors, but basically they're shades of black. And I think that men today are no different than they were in the 1800s. I think they're basically insensitive, insecure. I think they all have the capacity to be completely insane. And on a more serious note, I think they all have tendencies to be violent in one form or another. I have been...
Do you happen to have any men in your life at this moment?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
You don't... You do...
Poor man. Good luck, buddy.
Well, I sent for the tickets and I didn't even know what was on the program. I was a little...
Boy, were you surprised. Oh, you're disappointed.
Because I thought, I don't want to come and see another sex show, There's enough of them on TV.
How many sex shows do you watch?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm
old.
real happy to see that you all are good looking and you have a nice personality and it sounds like a real good sense of humor.
All right, thank you.
And it's not a sex show. It's not a sex show. Now, here you have a lady that was a debutante in Atlanta, Georgia. And let me tell you, in Atlanta, correct? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, being born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, you cannot get much higher than being a debutante in the South. I mean, that is the ultimate for a young lady. What did she do? You gave it all up, and you went to somewhere magnificent. Where'd you go?
Pray, Montana.
Excuse me?
Pray, Montana.
Pray, Montana.
Yeah, population 20, 19 when I'm out of town.
Karen, for you, did you actually bite a dentist one time?
Yeah.
I've known some dentists that I felt like biting, let me tell you. I mean, shoot, what happened?
He just was drilling and he hit a nerve, and when they've got all those fingers in your mouth, it's kind of hard to say stop, and he went, and he didn't stop, so...
Everyone was in control until the stewardess decided to go up front and check out things one more time. And at that point, you're so tuned into, you're watching everything she does.
Mm-hmm.
When she came back, and this is something that I'll always remember and what caused a lot of fears with people, she totally lost control. After we were all in our instructions and everyone was ready for this landing, she absolutely lost control and started sobbing into the microphone, crying and asking us to pray. So then everyone, from that point on, everyone
This
thought,
certainly didn't build confidence in you. I mean...
What you assumed is she went to the front of the plane, she found out something, and this is how she reacted, what is going to happen?
And see what the score stands at right now. Amy, what's the score?
Remember, Amy, what we said.
Yeah, Amy?
Amy.
That's complex. Come on, Amy.
Free tomatoes, lunch for 20 bucks off. What do you want, Amy? Your property taxes lowered.
Amy, what is the score now?
We got TVs, Amy.
Yeah,
We got VCRs.
Amy, money.
What's the score, Amy?
The celebrities have 17 and
All of us at one time or another feel alone. Not until we hear from others in the same situation can we see a vision of hope. We have shared some tender moments in the past year. We cried a few tears together, opened up our hearts, and tried to offer a glimmer of hope in what sometimes seemed to be a hopeless situation. Evelyn, it's only been 6 weeks, and as I said, we can only imagine the emotional pain that you and your husband have been through in the past 6 weeks. Where are you now in dealing with what happened to your daughter?
I think halfway between reality and it's like a dream. It's not real.
In the beginning, Jim, was there a lot of denial that it just didn't seem like it could possibly be real?
Well, it hit you. It was there, and then you would forget it, and it would come back again and hit you. But now I think it's even getting worse because it's set in, you know what's happened.
Because the finality of it all.
Right.
I know when you come home, there are obviously certain things around from your daughter that reminds you of her presence and that she won't be there
I have
anymore.
not come home one day that I have not pulled in our garage and broke down. Not one. It's just like she was up here all during the week, but she was home every weekend. You're going to have to talk to him. I'm going to start crying.
This is my friend Evelyn. How you doing, Evelyn? You say hi? Say hi to everybody. Come on, you can say hi. Can you say hi? How you doing today? You having fun? I'm glad you came to visit me today. I've got a lot of other children with me. If we can widen out the shot just a little bit and look at some of the great friends I have. Who's this? Oh, I can see in the monitor right there. I'm looking at Tanya. Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
Hi. These are, they are in the process or have already been adopted. At one time, they were some of Minnesota's waiting children. Now, all of you, how many people have been in foster homes? How many people? Raise your hands. What did you think about that? Did you like it in a foster home? What was it like?
It was kind of hard.
Was it hard? Why was it hard?
Because, well, the rules were really strict and a lot of things you couldn't do.
Yeah, yeah. What about it? You have a permanent home now, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are the rules strict there too?
Not really.
You may have to talk to your mommy about that.
Well, there's a lot of rules, but they're not all too strict.
I divorced him because of the fact that in my whole life, all I have ever wanted to be was a wife and a mother. That is it, a good mother. And I did not want this man, because he was a drug user, to harm our kids in any way as far as, you know, when they were born or with any kind of birth defects.
So you divorced him and you figure that you're out of the bad situation.
I think, you know, I met a wonderful guy. I'm totally in love. I had the best, you know, we had the best life. We had a great family. And I mean, 1 month after my baby was born, they lay this news on us. And the man that I left ended up harming my whole family and might even destroy my baby's life and mine, leaving my husband and my little boy alone.
Your first husband had exposed you to the AIDS virus.
Exactly, because he was an IV drug user.
She just, as soon as he walked out of the door, her personality, her language, abusive behavior, everything changed.
As upset as we might feel in looking at this videotape, we can only imagine your feelings.
Well, the only thing that I'm thankful for is that I fell apart first, and he took care of me, and then he fell apart, and I took care of him. And I don't know what would have happened if we fell apart at the same time. It was terrible.
What we saw here, was that basically what took place? Were there other instances during the videotape?
There was a lot more than that. It was basically the same thing, but it was a lot more of it. It's just that that's what the news show had put on the TV, you know, because they couldn't put all of it on there.
We had a 6-hour tape, and about 3 hours of it, Harry was out of the house. And so 3 hours, every time a commercial came on TV, she beat him or slammed him down or multiple things.
My father left when I was about 4 because my mother beat him up all the time. And he left in fear of his life. And after the age of 4, the abuse turned on to me. And about the age of 6, she began to employ Skid Row bums to do things around the house that the man would usually do. And instead of paying them with money, she allowed them, as they preferred, to use my body for their sexual pleasures.
I'd like to talk with Jody's mom. Judy, stand up for me. Nice to see you today. You know, in talking to a mom, the feelings that only a mother can have, and especially between a mother and her daughter, the experiences that your daughter just talked about, how did you cope with this? Because for many, I think they would say, there's no way I could handle it.
I guess the only thing I wanted to know is that she was safe. I did not know about her trip to Chicago till this morning. There's probably a lot of things I don't know, and it wouldn't matter. She just had this urge to run, to go. There's nothing I could do. I tried everything to... The only thing I could do was be there for her, be there. Whether she would communicate or talk to me, it wouldn't matter, just to let her know that Mom was home, Mom was there.
When she was 17, she was getting sicker and going into the hospital more and more, and she was just about to have her senior year at Rye Country Day, her prep school. And I bought her a beautiful double bed with a white eyelet canopy, you know, sort of a princess-type bed. It was gorgeous. And the reason I bought that bed was that I wanted to help her find love. Normally, I would try to hold her back. I would never do this with my 14-year-old now. And just before the senior year started, I said, I thought I should sort of let her know that she had my permission, and this is pretty strong. I said, Christine, I just want you to know, I bought you the bed in the hope that you will find love. And she was so cute. She said, she just sort of brushed it off, which is what I knew she would do. She said, I don't think you have to worry about that, Mom. I don't even have a boyfriend. Well, before long, she did have a boyfriend. And she did have a love affair. I never, ever saw them in her room. I don't know how they did this. But I just, at that point, I had to face the fact that maybe she didn't have much time, and I should help her. And she did find love, and I think it made her life wonderful.
One of the things that we did at Rogers is we would start our groups with, I would say, my name is Barbara, and I would say I'm a compulsive overeater, I'm bulimic, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, I'm codependent, I'm an adult child, I'm a caffeine addict, and I'm a nicotine addict. And today I feel really scared and afraid.
He was in my Spanish class in 10th grade and called me and asked me out a couple times, but I wasn't interested. I had a boyfriend, and he would always want to, you know, he'd always call and just say, oh, let's go out, and I kept saying no, no, no. But I didn't talk to him a lot, you know, I just knew him, of him. And so then my senior year, he broke into our house at 4:30 in the morning and woke me from sleep and jumped on top of me. And I didn't know who it was. I said, who is that? Who is that? Before he had jumped on me. And I said, who is it? And I was woken up out of a deep sleep. And he jumped on top of me and started strangling me, telling me that he loved me and that he wanted to be inside of me. And that if he couldn't have me on his own, then no one was going to have me, that I was going to die.
Was there concern at that particular time that it was way before the Warren Commission and people really had a chance to really look at what happened, that maybe it was a bigger plan, maybe it was a conspiracy, and that her life may also be in danger?
Oh, certainly. We were very much afraid that something would happen to her or the children. And not just because of an outside power or something like that, or a conspiracy. It's because of we, the people of the United States, who felt that we had to put our hands on these people, had to be near them, had to talk to them, and they were a constant threat.
But you did not fear that someone was going to try to shoot Jackie, or someone was going...
No, I don't think that was the problem, possible kidnapping of the children or something along that line.
When you saw her when she stepped off the plane, what do you remember most?
Blood on her coat. It appeared to me that had some flesh on her yet. Having been a police officer before and been involved in death, it was something I noticed, something I recognized, something I'd lived with. It was very tough to take.
After they put me in the recovery room, and after I recovered, they wheeled me in my bed over to see the babies at Children's Hospital. And we asked how the babies were doing. They weighed 2.5 pounds about a piece. And all the nurse said is, they look nice and pink. And we thought, oh, that's not a real firm answer. And then a doctor wanted to talk to us. And he said, I have some tough news for you. I've examined your babies, and both of them have Down syndrome. Jennifer has an intestinal blockage, which we knew about, and that's repairable with surgery. Amy, the other baby, has the largest liver he's ever seen in his practice, and that, in conjunction with the way her blood looked, he felt that she had congenital leukemia and would not survive. And that was the news we got on what's supposed to be the best day of your life. And it turned out Amy does not have congenital leukemia, and she's still with us.
In the year 1988, Twin Cities Live has presented over 250-hour programs, each separate and unique from one another. Being a live show, we really don't know what is going to happen until it happens. We've been caught by surprise many times over the past year. More often than not, I'm the last one to know what's going to happen.
Good morning. I'm Mary Agnes Bruce. Welcome to Twin Cities Live. You usually see my son standing in this spot every morning, but since Mother's Day is on Sunday and I'm in town, I thought I'd fill in, since I taught him everything he knows anyway.
Mom. Put a little more emphasis
How
in this.
many times I've told you, don't interrupt when I'm talking. Sit down. Sit down.
At one time or another, face it, all of us dreamed of being a firefighter, whether we had a toy fire engine or whether or not we saw a fire engine running through our neighborhood. But when you get 100 feet up on a ladder like this and it's swaying in the wind, believe me, that fantasy grows a bit dim. Good morning, I'm Bob Bruce, and welcome to Twin Cities Live. You like this hat? I've had many embarrassing moments on this show, but today may be a little unique because even though I feel a little embarrassed the way I'm dressed, because now we're going to pull out and give you the full-length shot here, I should actually be proud to be dressed like this because my great-great-great-grandfather used to run around like this all the time, and yes, those are knees. Good morning and welcome to Twin Cities Live. Today, a special show. I'd first like to introduce you to my co-host because we are talking about pets being people and people treating pets as people, as if they were human beings. Because we all have our own special, if we have a pet, we know they're an important part of our family. I'd like to introduce you to May, who is with us today. Never done any television before. This is her television debut. Okay, get out here. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're out here. Here we are. All right, we thought we would do our own measurement. Now, you at home, please don't try this unless you have this sort of snow measuring. I thought I would need this, but I don't need this, really, so we'll just throw that over here. All right, now this will be the official KSTP Twin Cities Live snow measurement. Here we go. Okay, now, according to the weather department, we got quite a bit less than this, but I would say here at Twin Cities Live, we got 27 inches of snow, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot. 5 minutes? Okay, good. We better get back inside and talk some more.
Bob, you have some fabulous deck shoes on also from Bruno Magli of Italy, and a Gore-Tex pair of cotton trousers with an elastic back with pleated waist. Doesn't he look super? What a guy.
I might add, Rosie, you're the first person to scale down Mount Hubbard, so be real careful there, for heaven's sakes. Now, when you get halfway down, I mean, could you stop at any time and...
Sure, I can stop right here.
And just have lunch, and do you feel comfortable?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, the leg?
You want? Oh, you know, I've assembled here some of tomorrow's fads, which people send in to me as Dr. Fad. The leg here, this is there are various ways to play with this leg. You could have it sticking out of the trunk of your car, right? And play with it that way. Or the other day in a hotel when I ordered room service, I had it sticking out of the door, and they were kind of afraid to come into the door. Or you could have it sticking out of your toilet seat. You know? And they said, oh, was his life that bad? It really went down the toilet. You know, many ways to play with this leg.
And it involves it looks like a flash cube? Is this
Yeah,
like
there
a
was a
camera?
man who went around the country saying that he could generate heat with his mind, and he would go on the talk shows with something like a flash cube. And even though it wouldn't be connected to anything, he would ask people to concentrate on it and see if they could speed up the molecules in the flash cube and make it go off just by the power of their minds. So let's try it. Concentrate on it. See if you can think of something very hot, like maybe the hot coals that people claim to be able to walk on without burning their feet, or the feeling you get when you touch a hot stove. And if we all concentrate at the same time, we may be able to it worked. You're very good at that.
You know, if you take a little bit of this and dab it behind the ears and go...
He'd love me.
Yeah,
He'd love me.
That could help you out there.
Yeah.
Just, can you hold
Stay
that?
with you. Sure. Thank you, Bob.
There you go. Just hold that right there. Hold that right there. Wait a minute. Look out! Here. Oh! It seems that the spell is broken, my dear. Quick, please. Take her up and handcuff her. We'll hear the motive. It was you that did it, Victoria. It was.
Yes, it was I who did it.
Would you just be quiet, please? Would you just be quiet, please? Well, that's wonderful. That's what you want. Somebody to talk back to.
Put that off now.
Where do you turn it off?
Under the tail.
It's a little obscene.
That's okay.
Well, that's true. That's what you'd have to do, and I did the same here. I used to be married, and to protect me, my ex-wife got this number for me. I forget how it goes on, but which do you prefer? You know?
$1989 just around the corner, and our New Year's resolution is to keep providing you, the Twin Cities, with a show of your own, because you, the viewer, are the most important element of this program. It's a forum to express your thoughts, your frustrations, and your support for others. I hope you've enjoyed these highlights as much as I have enjoyed being part of them. Have a safe, happy, and healthy New Year's weekend. Don't drink and drive. We're about to leave you now with one of our favorite moments in the past year. We were out at the State Fair, able to meet some of you face-to-face. So to get you into the spirit of the New Year's, here are the sounds of the Rupert's Orchestra.
Get up and dance to the music. Hey, get on up and dance to the music, y'all.
Somebody on, so all you dancers just can't hide. Yeah!